Hello! So, today I want to talk a bit about social media and eating disorder recovery. But first, we are going to get our booster doses, which I'm a little apprehensive about, to be honest. I wasn't worried about the first and second ones, but this one I'm a little nervous about, but I'm still gonna go get it, of course. So, off we go! All done. They didn't give me a sticker though, but there we go. So I sat down to talk about social media and eating disorder recovery, and then I checked my emails and got overwhelmed. Grad school stuff. So my eyes are a little red. I'm gonna do my best to talk about this anyway, so I think it will make me feel better to finish recording this video. So basically, I've just been thinking a lot about the influencers on social media that we're exposed to and who we choose to follow, or who I choose to follow, who I used to follow, how different my Instagram feed is now compared to when I was in the worst of my eating disorder. If you don't already know, What Mia Did Next has posted a couple of videos about an influencer's exercise program this week or the past 2 weeks, and so I watched those videos, and that's what really got me thinking about this. For a bit of background about my experience with social media, so in late 2015 I think I started following wellness and fitness type accounts because my mood was very low, and when you're struggling with depression, one of the first suggestions people often make is to try and do more exercise or movement, which unfortunately was a really terrible suggestion for someone predisposed to an eating disorder. But anyway, so I decided to give home workouts a go, following some influencers on Instagram who posted workouts and meals and things like that. But by the following year, so 2016, I was exercising really excessively and also restricting my food and counting calories as well. Those three things are, I think, often suggested in social media wellness or fitness spaces, like never miss a Monday, or like recently I think people have become better at talking about the importance of rest days, although in my experience of social media I felt like even on rest days, people would encourage you to like go for a walk or do some low level movement or something like that. And which just confused my head, because I was like, well, in my opinion, that's not resting if you're going out for a walk for an hour, or like walking on a treadmill for an hour. Like that's still movement, and that might be, I just got very confused. Basically, I was still depressed, but now also I guess distracted from my depression, because I was really focused on exercising, I was really focused on eating nutritious foods, and I was driven to achieve the ideal body shape that we see in social media and lots of media forms. Thin, slightly muscular, visible abs, that sort of, I'm sure you know the type. And a year after that, in 2017, I was not fit by any means. I was just weak and very exhausted and was diagnosed with anorexia. So I don't think that social media caused my eating disorder per se, but I do think it played a role. I think that I've always been predisposed to having an eating disorder, I think, genetically, and various factors growing up influenced the development of my eating disorder, but I do think that it social media influenced the severity of my eating disorder, because there are so many tips and tricks thrown around on social media, like weight loss hacks and all those sorts of things, that gave me ideas, I suppose. Just the whole attitude towards dieting and exercising excessively was very much normalized, so I didn't feel like I was going down a dangerous path, because that's what all these other people seem to be doing. And it's really interesting that what Mia Did Next posted about this influencer recently, because I also used to follow this influencer early in my recovery. I would watch her workout videos. I remember doing one of her workout videos a lot of times, and I watched her eat healthy meals, and it's only really now looking back that I can see how damaging some of that content is. Like being exposed to photos of these thin bodies every day, multiple times a day, and watching their what I eat in a days with their salads and smoothies and lean proteins, and often like something would be thrown in about balance, and like it's important to have balance and you can treat yourself, you know, and they'd have like a raw Snickers slice or something. That's never how I ate naturally. But food just took on this whole nother level of complicated, and like gave it such moral value. Eat well, eat clean the whole day, and then you can reward yourself by having this tiny piece of raw vegan slice. Like, no, that's not how I want to live my life. And like that kind of attitude towards food is so normalized these days. The diet industry, I'm sure there are some great influencers out there who preach, you know, really actually healthy, balanced approaches, but there's this whole sector of the fitness industry, this huge sector, which is just really has the potential to be extremely harmful. Recently, after what Mia Did Next posted those videos, I went back and I looked at this person's account, and then like Instagram does, other similar accounts pop up, and you scroll through these pictures and they're pictures of thin women in sports bras and tiny shorts, and there's nothing wrong with wearing those clothes. But I remember when I used to scroll through those photos before my eating disorder, or during my eating disorder, and even consciously knowing that these people are posing in a certain way and the lighting is done in a particular way as well, and like probably they haven't eaten much that day, etc., before taking the photo. Even knowing all these things consciously, like seeing those perfect images gets to your subconscious, and I found myself thinking, wow, I don't look like that. Like, why don't I look like that? Like, and I'm generally happy with my body. Like I'm pretty happy with how I look, and I have a lot of thin privilege as well, and I'm white and I'm privileged in a lot of ways, but still seeing these photos I still feel insecure, and I can only imagine how much worse it must be for someone who looks even like more different from those photos than I do, if that makes sense. These accounts, this part of the fitness industry seems to encourage body checking through taking progress photos, and seems to encourage restrictive diets, and seems to encourage eating clean and lots of protein, which I kind of have an issue with, over exercise, and it just seems to encourage so many habits that are actually really harmful. Follow fitness accounts anymore. I don't follow wellness accounts, and I haven't for quite a while. So when I look at my Instagram feed these days, it really feels like a safe space for me. If something comes up from someone I'm following that does not feel safe to me, then I will just unfollow that person. And I would encourage you to do the same if you're following me and I trigger you in some way to feel badly about yourself. I would encourage you to unfollow me. Instagram and social media has the potential to be really helpful in eating disorder recovery, and I've certainly experienced many benefits of social media. For example, by having this YouTube channel and the support of you watching to keep me accountable in my recovery, that has been so valuable to me. But it's also really easy to get stuck in a rabbit hole following accounts that sort of suggest that they're an eating disorder recovery perhaps, or they're weight gain accounts, yet they still sort of encouraging a restrictive diet in some way, or they make you feel badly about your own body or something like that. As I said, even if you look at these photos and follow these accounts and consciously know that they've been filtered or whatever, the research indicates that following appearance-focused accounts increases drive for thinness, body surveillance or body checking, and also internalizing the thin ideal, which it is so important to move away from in recovery. Whereas if you follow appearance neutral account, there's no association with body image related outcomes. So I try to follow appearance neutral accounts, so just accounts that aren't about appearance, where I don't really like following accounts where there's a lot of body pictures posted, because bodies are not interesting to me. I'm more interested in people's thoughts or jokes, cute animals. I follow a lot of llamas. I follow comics about work and grad school, and a few people who really inspire me as well. I urge you to do the same, to think about who you're following, to think about how you feel after scrolling through Instagram. It might not be a conscious thought you have that you feel bad or worse about yourself. It might be more subconscious, and that's harder to identify, but it's worth delving into how you're really feeling after looking at various social media accounts. Also urge you to think about the content that you're putting out there as well, because I do think we all have a responsibility, especially on public platforms, to do our best to try and not cause harm to others. No one is perfect, we can never please everyone, and I'm sure that my posts in the past have triggered some people and probably will continue to trigger some people, even though I do try my best. Often in the community, I think, which is a great thing, is that people are pretty good at saying when something is potentially harmful, like posting photos of bodies that are emaciated. It's a real shame this particular influencer that what Mia Denise was talking about is not open to, that does not seem to be open to that feedback. She has really shed light on what is usually kept hidden in the diet industry, which is that they don't actually care about health, they care about making money, and they will target your insecurities, even to go as far as targeting people with a diagnosable mental illness to profit off of them, which is what diet culture will do in the diet industry, in the fitness industry. Not everyone, but some people. Okay, that did make me feel better. I was feeling not good about grad school and research, and I got my booster vaccine yesterday, and my arm is kind of sore underneath it. I think my lymph nodes might be slightly enlarged or something. I will record again soon if I can think of something to say. I'm sending you lots of love. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your support. I'm sorry that sometimes I am incredibly slow at replying to messages because I get very anxious about what to say, and I'm sorry about that, and I appreciate your patience. So lots of love, and I'll record again soon. Bye!